Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the IACT Winter Warm-Up Series on iRacing. Tonight, it's the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout, the second annual SoBo Shootout here at South Boston Speedway. The IACT Winter Warm-Up Series is brought to you by GossCars.com and by RKM Setup Shop. Good evening, everybody. I am Nick Mumley, and alongside me in our virtual broadcast booth is Michael Stridesberg. Michael, it's the SoBo Shootout. Few races on the IACT calendar get as wild, fun, and more rewarding to win than this one.
Indeed, virtual South Boston Speedway with 3/8 mile track. It races a lot tighter than it looks. 150 laps, tire changes, all sorts of elements to this one. Really looking forward to do it. But first, you got to race your way into the show. And Nick, you can see them getting staged on the grid now for the first of 3 qualifying heats here to set the 22 car starting field for tonight's event.
Absolutely. It will be 15-lap heat races here tonight. And let's take a look at heat race number 1.
Starting on the pole, the car number 31 for the sim racing standout and Flying Tiger Mini Milk Bowl winner Logan Powers will go on the point. Outside the 12 is Brian Rogers Jr. I should say Milton Cat ACT Championship crew chief Dave Weir will go inside row 2 in the 21. Then the reigning GossCars.com IACT champion Casey Beatty in the 45. The 17 for the top runner, Kyle Goodboe, out of New Hampshire. Then his first time out this year, the 15, that is Hayden Bushy. Riding shotgun right now in the field, the 13 Vermont is Ty Delphia. So Lukey Shannon and Tyler Paya scheduled to go on this field. Looks like Lukey Shannon is going to make a late arrival bringing up the rear, but the 22 Tyler Paya looks like is not going to make the call for the first 15-lap qualifying heat.
15 laps, your top 4 finishers from this heat race will qualify to the 150-lap SoBo Shootout later on tonight. Logan Powers, Brian Rogers, ready to bring us to green.
Logan Powers with the early nose up as Hayden Bushy looks like slides up into the wall in turn 1. So far, everyone keeps it straight. Behind Powers, they are side by side early. Dave Weir going to the inside for second as Kyle Goodboe looking to take the final qualifying spot.
Side by side, they fight behind Logan Powers. It's Weir on the inside, Rogers on the top side, as he's going to get some momentum off that corner and clear David Weir. Now to the outside comes the defending IACT champion, the 45 New Hampshire's Casey Beatty.
Beatty moves up to the number 3 spot. The battle now on for the final transfer position. Outside the place to be early as here comes the 17 of Goodboe trying to take the long way around, but Dave Weir fighting back in the 21 machine.
Kyle Goodboe in the number 17 RSB chassis Toyota Camry makes the move down to the inside, clears David Weir, and secures the final qualifying spot here in heat race number 1 with 11 laps to go.
4 laps complete in this one. You can see our 4 cars in the transfer position have sorted themselves out. Behind them, side by side for 5th, Lukey Shannon as they slam doors on the back coming off the turn. Everyone sorts it out, but David Weir falls all the way to the back of the field. Lukey Shannon moves up to the 5th spot, but your number 2 point man needs one more to take the short way into tonight's main event as Bushy in the wall again.
Wow, he slid hard that time in the number 15 car there. He's back into the wall as it's going to bring that car slowly to a stop here eventually. Maybe. We'll see. Back up at the front of the field, Logan Powers still leads the way. Casey Beatty's made the move to 2nd, and now Kyle Goodboe up to 3rd. Brian Rogers slipping back to 4th into the danger spot there. Last car qualified at this moment as Powers, Beatty, and Goodboe run 1, 2, 3.
We're past the halfway point, and it is going to be on for the final transfer position here. The 13 of Luke Shannon has reeled in Brian Rogers Jr. Right now, the 12 and the 13 running very sequentially. Luke Shannon going to try and change that here in the final 6 laps.
The battle is on for that final transfer spot. Shannon with the back bumper, or with the front bumper right to the back bumper of Brian Rogers. 5 laps to go. Rogers has been on a downward slide here for the last few laps. Let's go on board with Lukey Shannon in the 13 machine as he tries to make this pass to get himself locked into the show later on tonight.
Trying to avoid the last chance consolation race, trying to pick up some valuable points toward the championship. He's running out of time, Nick. 4 laps to go. Has that number 13 all the way on the apron trying to find a way around. Up ahead, you can see our 3 leaders nose to tail, but we will stay here with the battle for the final spot as Shannon tries to get the bumper inside with less than 3 to go.
He forces Rogers up the racetrack, getting the stick in the nose in there in turn 3, gets underneath, even with him into turn 1, off of turn 2, it's all Shannon with the final transfer spot. Rogers slips out of contention, and now facing a challenge from Ty Delphia in the 13.
Final lap at the front. Logan Powers trying to hold on to the win and lock in the pole position for the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. Here they come to the checkered flag. Logan Powers is going to win heat number 1. Casey Beatty, Kyle Goodboo, and Luke Shannon, the final spot into the main event. Everyone else will be headed to the last chance consolation round a little later on this evening.
Absolutely. Consolation round is going to be a big one. Cars will go home from this race. People will fail to qualify as we move on to heat race number 2, and you'll take a look at the starting lineup for this second heat race tonight. On the pole is the Strictly Mini competitor from White Mountain Motorsports Park in the 69 Young Guns Creations Ford Mustang. That's Aiden Young. To his outside in the number 13 Lexus, I believe is the body style on that machine. That is Bob Eldred, who's finished on the podium here already in 2025. Next up on the grid, it's the technical inspector for Oxford Plains Speedway, Jason Ricker. And to his outside, Kyler Davis, riding in the number 1 machine here tonight. Starting 5th out of Massachusetts, that's Randy Cole in the 55 Mass. And to his outside, Brock Rouse in the Harrison Ready Mix, number 70, starting 6th. Starting 7th tonight in heat race number 2, that's Reagan Parent in the 17. To his outside, 5th place pointsman so far in an ACT rookie season that has been very impressive so far, Mike McCaskill in the McCaskill Custom Carpentry Chevrolet. And riding shotgun on the field, Justin Prescott, getting another terrible qualifying draw in the AH Fence Company 04 Vermont Chevrolet. He will start from 9th place on the grid.
The qualifying draw is random. I'm sure Justin Prescott isn't feeling very random right now, but he's got 15 laps to race his way into the top 4 as the green flag is out here at South Boston Speedway.
Aiden Young on the inside. Bob Eldred with a nice jump on the top side. Following him through is Kyler Davis in the 1. Both of those cars looking to make up some ground on the second groove. As they come around, Eldred will lead lap number 1.
Bob Eldred with the nose up on the outside. Aiden Young trying to keep the door open. The inside gets a very good drive in turn 3, but Bob Eldred with the run off of 4 secures the top spot for now. Behind him, it is Kyler Davis in the 1, trying to join him and taking the Rainbow Road up to the number 2 spot, but Aiden Young fighting hard in the 69 machine.
See Jason Ricker touching the wall there a little bit on corner exit as the 13 and the 1, the 2 Mind Warp cars get around Aiden Young on the top side. Kyler Davis is not done pedaling up there. Oh, and now he gets wicked loose off the corner. Coming back to the stripe, Young's going to get to pull side by side once again. Davis made a quick move for the lead there, but it was quickly thwarted by that number 1 machine getting way loose coming off the corner.
This allowing the 13 of Eldred to get away a little bit. Here comes the 9 of Jason Ricker on the outside. He's got to go because the 70 of Brock Rouse is breathing down his neck. They go wheel to wheel now for that number 3 spot. The 69 of Aiden Young and the 9 of Jason Ricker. Brock Rouse just waiting to see which lane opens up.
Brock Rouse waiting there. Randy Cole as well. You see Justin Prescott making his way up through the field up to 7th in that number 04 machine. Cole gets a little bit loose off the corner, gathers it up. These drivers fighting for the final spot, or the first position out of the money right now, is Rouse now with a little bit of a bobble. He slides high. Prescott dives low. Now contact between Rouse and Randy Cole. They come together again. Justin Prescott's going to make it 3 wide. Down on the apron. 3 wide going into turn number 3. Prescott might just get 2 of them at once, but will it be enough? Will he be able to chase him down and get himself into that preferred qualifying position there inside the top 4?
Brock Rouse bounces off the wall as well. Him and Randy Cole go in the blender, but everybody holds on to it. Prescott is up to 5th, but he is almost a second behind your final qualifier as they run Aiden Young, and he is running out of time. We are inside of 5 laps to go here in heat number 2.
Back up at the front, Bob Eldred still leading by about a half second on Kyler Davis. There's Ricker in 3rd. Aiden Young following closely behind in 4th. Those are your qualified cars at this juncture of the event. Like you said, Michael, Justin Prescott a little under a second behind that 4th place car of Aiden Young. His chances of qualifying in through his heat race here are diminishing rather quickly.
Inside of 3 laps to go now. Prescott is gaining a little bit, but he's going to have to gain faster. Meanwhile, leading them all is the 13 of Bob Eldred, not known for being a strong qualifier, trying to change that tonight. Just over a lap away from picking up the heat win and the 10 points that come with it in the chase for the GossCars.com IACT Championship.
Yeah, how many times have we seen Bob Eldred come from the back to the front in these races? Well, this time he's going to start from the front. Bob Eldred, he's going to lock up the outside pole position with the win in heat race number 2. Kyler Davis 2nd, Jason Ricker in 3rd, and Aiden Young 4th. Those are your qualifiers. Justin Prescott, Reagan Parent, Brock Rouse, Randy Cole, and Mike McCaskill all coming back for the consolation round.
Indeed, one more qualifying heat here to set the first 12 starting positions for the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. The remainder of the 22-car starting field will be set through the last chance consolation round immediately following this 3rd qualifying heat. And let's introduce you to the starting field. On the pole, back in action this week, the reigning Thunder Road King of the Road, the Tropical Storm, Caden Fisher. On the outside, a different look in car number 4 on the naughty list this week around. It is Matt Smith in car number 4. Nathan Wenzel is going to start outside of row 2, the former New Hampshire NASCAR state champion. Inside of him will be the 0 for the 2-time Thunder Road King of the Road, Scott Dragon. Richie Murray, the standout from Massachusetts and Seekonk Speedway, will go inside of row 3. Then the guy who is 2 for 2 so far in the GossCars.com IACT season, Ryan Kuhn in the 72, and starting to his outside at the rear of the field, the Uppa Baby Strollers, car number 31, that is Trent Goodrow. It looks like we do have a scratch from this heat as well. Corey Paya was scheduled to start this one in the 23, but will not make the call, leaving us with 7 cars, 15 laps, and 4 to transfer.
Here we go. Lights are down on the IACT pace car. Caden Fisher, Matt Smith going to bring us to green, and we are racing in the 3rd and final heat race for round 1 qualifying here at the SoBo Shootout.
Matt Smith in the 4 puts the whisker up on the outside to start, but Caden Fisher rolls it around the inside, the 18. Nose to nose at the line. It's Fisher on the inside. Nate Wenzel looks to fill the hole.
Wenzel looking to the inside in the SimCube Chevrolet, that number 03 machine. Down to the bottom, Matt Smith up top, fighting for position number 2 on the racetrack. Caden Fisher still has the lead. Scott Dragon holding on to the final qualifying spot as for right now.
Once again, top 4 make the main event. First man out of the picture is the 08 of Richie Murray. He, the point leader Ryan Kuhn, and the 31 Trent Goodrow will have to start hustling here. They do have 12 laps left, but they go by quickly at this 3/8 mile oval.
They do, and you saw Richie Murray last week at Hickory have such a good race. It kind of came apart on him at the end. He slipped back, I think, to 4th or 5th, at the end of it. Had a great race, led a lot of it, but now it was the battle between him and Ryan Kuhn that was really the turning point of the race last week, and now here they are fighting, both outside of position, trying to make their way into the show here as they both are trying to go after Scott Dragon for that final qualifying spot.
They're side by side for fifth. Scott Dragon trying to hold them all off as we take a look out the front of the nose of the 72 Ryan Kuhn. You can see how close they get, running below the yellow line here. Here comes Ryan Kuhn. Might have it to the inside, but Dragon shuts him down as we are closing in on halfway.
Scott Dragon shutting the door there, trying to hold on to that final qualifying spot in the Premier Paving entry for Scott Dragon. Holding on to fourth position as we speak. Still side by side is the 72 of Kuhn and the 08 of Murray. They're both fighting, trying to get in position to take that last qualifying spot away from Dragon with 6 laps to go.
Well, these drivers don't want it to be any harder than it has to be, but right now, Scott Dragon doing yeoman's work, holding on to that final transfer position. Caden Fisher at the front gets the 5 laps to go. Kuhn again looks to the inside, but again can't find it. Might have a window open this time, though, Nick.
And, that's tight into the corner. And Kuhn's going to get the spot. Murray's going to go through as well. And now Kuhn holds the final qualifying spot. Murray's trying to grab it. Scott Dragon shuffled all the way back to 6th in all of this. Meanwhile, Caden Fisher still leading the way up here with 3 laps to go.
Fisher is your leader. Matt Smith not letting him get away. Of course, right as I say that, Smith goes a little high in 1 and 2, allows Fisher to open up a couple of car lengths. You know, it's a give and take balancing act right there. I'm sure Matt Smith would love to get this spot and get the third starting position in the main event, but also trying to be smart and not jeopardize it and have to go to the consolation round as they come to the white flag.
White flag is out for Caden Fisher, looking to lock up P3 on the starting grid later on tonight, and the SD Ireland Ford Mustang. Fisher through 3 and 4. Smith gives chase to no avail. It's Caden Fisher winning heat race number 3. Matt Smith second. Then it's Nate Wenzel. Ryan Kuhn locks himself into the show. Richie Murray, Scott Dragon, Trent Goodrow all coming back in just a few seconds for the consolation race.
Indeed. One more chance to qualify for tonight's 12:20 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. Don't believe that the payers are going to make the call for this one, so it'll be 12 cars starting. Top 10 will get the final spots in the main event. 11th and 12th place finishers. Sorry, guys, but thanks for playing.
Yep, we'll see how that plays out here, as Brian Rogers will lead us to green in the number 12 machine, with Justin Prescott to his outside. As we take a look here at our consolation race, 15 laps the distance. Richie Murray is going to start third. We just saw him in Philadelphia on the outside in car number 13. Then you've got Reagan Parent, Scott Dragon running side by side there in row 3. On to row 4, you've got Hayden Bushy in the 15, Brock Rouse in the 70. And going on now to row number 5, Trent Goodrow in the 31, making his IACT season debut. Dave Weir in the 21 had that tough heat race. He will roll off 10th. And starting 11th tonight will be Randy Cole in the 55, trying to qualify for the show after missing out on the event last week at Hickory. 15 laps the distance. Go ahead, Michael.
Just going to say, Nick, we do have Mike McCaskill on the field as well. Barely made it, but he is here. Going to try and race his way for the number 5 point man, get into tonight's $50 to win main event.
Yep, Mike McCaskill's had a good start to the season so far, trying to continue that momentum. Here we go, 15 laps. Top 10 qualify to the SoBo Shootout. We're green flag racing.
Hubcap to hubcap. They head for turn number 3. Brian Rogers on the inside, Justin Prescott on the outside at the line. It is going to be the 12 of Rogers by a radiator cap. Here comes Richie Murray looking 3 deep for the lead on the back straightaway.
Richie Murray wasting no time, moves the 12 up the racetrack, takes over second, now laying an attack on Justin Prescott for the race lead here in this consolation round. No shortage of action here in the early laps.
Well, every car you pass here is a car you don't have to pass in the main event, and some people trying to set themselves up for success in the main event. Looks like Richie Murray is going to settle in line in the number 2 spot. Side-by-side battle on the track. As I say that, they get single file. The 31 of Trent Goodrow trying to move up. That is the number 7 position. Then it's Dragon, Rouse, and Randy Cole, your final qualifier. Dave Weir, and it looks like Mike McCaskill may have gone to the pits in car number 3.
Not a good sign for Mike McCaskill, trying to avoid being one of the 2 drivers that does not get to qualify for this event. As there's contact, around goes Dragon, around goes Goodrow. Caution flag will not wave here. Yes, it will. Caution is out here in the consolation race as Trent Goodrow and Scott Dragon come together there in turn number 2.
We'll take a look at the replay here, and was a little contact between the 0 and the 31 there. Got the 31 sideways. And coming into turn 1, Trent Goodrow gives Scott Dragon a swift kick in the pants, and they both end up going around.
Yeah, a little bit of a repayment there, but Trent Goodrow also spins out in that ordeal. So it will be the yellow flag here with 10 laps to go.
10 laps to go, and remember, top 10 qualify, so Goodrow and Dragon go to the rear of the field. They'll be running 10th and 11th. Mike McCaskill is back on the track, but being scored as 3 laps down. So Goodrow and Dragon both going to have to hustle here, because 2 drivers who were very securely in qualifying spots, now there is definitely a danger of one of them at least missing out on the main event.
It's going to be interesting to see how they race each other. I'm sure neither of them are too pleased at the other one at this juncture of the event. But it's going to be an interesting finish. Watching that transfer spot, watching the battle up at the front. Who's going to come home with the consolation round victory? Looks like the lights are off on the IACT pace car, and we are going to go racing this time by.
Justin Prescott, your leader, chooses the outside line. That'll put the 08 of Richie Murray on his inside. Then you have Brian Rogers, Ty Delphia, Reagan Parent, and Hayden Bushy looking much better after some struggles in his heat race as we go ready to go back green. Green is out, and Prescott with the big jump in the 04.
Prescott gets the jump, takes the lead down into turn 1 and 2. Ty Delphia will settle into 3rd. Here's the side-by-side fight for 4th. Brian Rogers and Hayden Bushy there in the 15 as they come together off of turn number 4. Give the advantage to Rogers that time. He's in 4th position. Still a fight side-by-side. Reagan Parent looking to put his name in the hat as well.
Reagan Parent to the inside of Hayden Bushy takes over the number 5 spot. Bushy trying to hang on here as the 70 of Brock Rouse looks at him. Trent Goodrow looking at the ticker, something may have happened to Trent. Maybe he got a bad jump on the restart, was in pit road, because he is nearly 3 seconds behind your final qualifier, Scott Dragon. Is he going to have time to make that up here in the final 6 laps? Yeah,
very shocking. Trent Goodrow struggled in his heat race, struggling in the consi. He was a top runner last year in IACT. Has been around sparingly so far this year, but nonetheless, kind of surprising to see him on the outside looking in at this point in the night.
Right now, we're watching 9th and 10th, the final 2 cars slated to be in the main event. Dave Weir in the 21, the 0 of Scott Dragon. Goodrow has cut it to about 2 seconds, but he has got less than 4 laps to go as we head back to the front where they are nose to tail for the lead.
Richie Murray putting on one final attack for the race lead here in the consolation round. Justin Prescott holds on to that race lead right now, but Murray, like you said, Michael, all over the back bumper of Prescott. 2 laps to go.
Richie Murray to the inside. Prescott holding him off. It's the 13 of Ty Delphi in third, then Brian Rogers, Reagan Parent, and Hayden Bushy. Final lap is underway. We'll head back to the front here. Richie Murray going to try and take one more shot here at Justin Prescott.
Prescott dives into turn 3 and 4. No real challenge from Murray off of turn 4. Prescott catches the wall. Murray gives him a lift, and that is how they finish here in the consolation round. So it'll be Trent Goodrow and Mike McCaskill headed home for the night. A couple of surprising DNQs here for the SoBo Shootout. Justin Prescott wins the consolation round.
Indeed, and 10 more names into the field, including the 55 of Randy Cole, who was one of those drivers on the outside looking in last week, bounces back this week, Nick, and able to race his way into the field for tonight's 150-lap main event.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll love to see that as we get ready for our warm-up here tonight. And we'll also tell you about tonight's event sponsor, Michael, 1220 Auto and Graphics.
Indeed. If you haven't heard of 1220 Auto and Graphics, they are located up in Swanton, Vermont on 157 St. Albans Road. Was an offshoot of the former Yipes Auto Accessories North. Now, unfortunately, that ended up not being able to stay open, but when Yipes North closed down, Brandon Tinker, one of the top employees there, decided to open up 1220 Auto and Graphics in what's the former CCR tractor store. They are there for all your car and truck accessory needs. They design and produce signs and graphics as well for home and personal use. You know, just taking a look at their Facebook page right now, you can find them 1220 Auto and Graphics. They've got things like WeatherTech, custom fit floor liners, sleek, tonneau, truck bed covers for your pickup truck, all sorts of things. They've only been open for about a month, but they have everything you can need to spice up your vehicle. So give them a call at 802-527-1220. Email them at graphics1220@outlook.com or stop by their location at 157 St. Albans Road in Swanton, Vermont, and get your vehicle jazzed up for the rest of the winter or the fun summer ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon does a tremendous job with all of his auto work and graphic work as well. I mean, you look at a couple of the cars that he's got his graphics on over the years. All the cars out of the SRT Motorsports stable, Brian Hoare, Taylor Hoare, Burnett Motorsports with Jason Corliss. He's done all those cars. So a track record of really good vinyl work as well from Brandon. So yeah, go give them a like on Facebook, 1220 Auto and Graphics, and check them out if you need anything done with your vehicle. Also, the IACT Winter Warm-Up Series brought to you by GossCars.com.
Indeed, GossCars.com. They strive to provide their Champlain, New York, and their South Burlington, St. Albans City, and Burlington, Vermont neighbors with a seamless car buying experience, whether it is at Goss, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep in Williston, or at Goss Chevrolet in Champlain, New York, or online at GossCars.com. They've been a trusted name in the industry for over 50 years, whether it's sedans, trucks, SUVs, luxury vehicles, new, used. They have the inventory to suit a broad spectrum of budgets and lifestyles. So start your car buying journey today at GossCars.com. And remember, Nick, go, 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 Goss has got it.
Yes. The weekly jingle from Michael, always the highlight of our broadcasts here on IACT. And one final shout out as we wrap up our warm up here for tonight's SoBo Shootout. How about RKM Setup Shop? You're looking at one of the RKM Setup Shop race cars right now. That's the 17 of Kyle Goodboe. Also, the guy who's won the first 2 races of the series so far. Ryan Kuhn, he is the owner of RKM Setup Shop. He provides all the setups for. Look at that save right there. He wouldn't have been able to do that without having an RKM setup in the chassis of the virtual number 17 car. But no, Ryan Kuhn has won both of the races so far and providing us with these setups that allow these cars to run well all race long. 150 laps tonight. These cars are going to be begging for mercy at the end of it. But they'll still be running strong with the RKM setups underneath the hood.
And Nick, we have an interesting wrinkle for tonight's event as well as we get ready to head to the grid, don't we?
Yeah, we do. It's going to be. We've gone, one tire change so far this year. Tonight we said, to heck with it. We're going as many tire changes as you want. So there's going to be a lot of tire strategy in this race, and we're going to find out quickly what's more important: track position or 4 fresh sneakers on your virtual race car. So that's it's going to be a fun thing to watch here throughout the night as we get ready to grid.
Yep, over an 8-race season, you don't want every race to be exactly the same. You got to throw in little wrinkles in there, so you can have different strategies, have different approaches. Because let's face it, if every race went the same way, it wouldn't be that fun to watch, would it?
It would not. So here we go. Looks like we're about ready to line up the field.
22 cars strong for the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout 150 laps event number 3 of the GossCars.com IACT Winter Warm-Up Series. Final few cars coming to the grid. And it looks like it is going to be the 31 of Logan Powers on the pole, the 2-time Flying Tiger Vermont Mini Milk Bowl winner. Alongside him, one of the top point drivers year after year in IACT, enters tonight number 3 in the standings, Bob Eldred in the Mind Warp number 13.
Starting third on the grid tonight, that's going to be the defending King of the Road at Thunder Road, the Tropical Storm, Caden Fisher. To his outside, Matt Smith will roll off in the number 4.
Then you have the other Mind Warp machine, car number 1 for the top street stock runner at Thunder Road, Kyler Davis. Then the Oxford Tech Man in car number 9, and it's outside that is Jason Ricker.
Then we got Kyle Goodboe in the number 17 RKM Setup Shop machine. And to his outside, wait for it, here he comes, it's Lukey Shannon.
The former New Hampshire State NASCAR champion, Nathan Wenzel in the Simicube number 03. Then we've got the 08 for Massachusetts, Richie Murray.
Then you've got Aiden Young and Brian Rogers.
And all the rest, because we are going green, Nick.
I was wondering when that was coming. They don't give us enough time to get through the whole starting lineup. But the iRacing pace car makes the turn down pit road. The second annual SoBo Shootout presented by 1220 Auto and Graphics is underway.
On the inside, the 31 of Logan Powers, the INS machine. Another look this week going bright red, and it is bright fast so far. He has the nose up on the inside in the 31.
Logan Powers, your leader so far. Caden Fisher looking to make a move down to the inside of the racetrack. Bob Eldred used that top side in his heat race to get the heat win. Running second as of right now, trying to pedal that top side once again.
So far, both lanes working pretty solidly. The 31 of Powers gets the drive on the inside, but Bob Eldred able to get that strong run off the corners and draw back alongside the 31 of Powers. The Tropical Storm, Caden Fisher lying in wait in the 18 machine.
Yeah, Fisher just biding his time right now, waiting for something to happen as Powers and Eldred continue to run side by side. Matt Smith has slipped up just a little bit, allowed Kyler Davis to get underneath him in the battle for 4th spot. As the battle for the lead continues to run strong, Eldred on the outside of Logan Powers.
Both drivers kind of feeling each other out right here. They both know it's a long race, not going to pull anything too crazy, but definitely getting some experience here, seeing what works and what doesn't. The 31 of Powers just not able to get clear. Too close to call at the line. Might have been Eldred by a hair, but the 31 of Powers puts the nose back up again in the corners.
They continue to run side by each. 31 inside, 13 outside. Caden Fisher trying to decide which lane is best to go in at this point in time, but there's not really much movement on either side. Good, hard side-by-side racing to begin the SoBo Shootout.
The 13 of Bob Eldred, though, gets the break that time, and he clears Logan Powers heading into the corner. Bob Eldred assumes the lead here at South Boston Speedway. Powers back to second. Fisher not able to get to his outside, though, because here comes the man on the naughty list, Matt Smith, drawing alongside him, trying to take the number 3 spot.
Smith in the number 4 machine to the outside. Might have made some contact with the wall right there. Lost his positioning on the outside of Fisher. And you see Kyler Davis pulling back in underneath the number 4 machine. Side by side, they fight now for 4th place.
They've got plenty of pressure on their tails as well. The 17 of Kyle Goodboe in the RSB chassis car on the outside running in 6. Jason Ricker in the 9, holding down the fort in the 7th spot. Then Richie Murray trying to come out of the back. Nate Wenzel and Aiden Young round out your top 10 here in the early going.
Yeah, it's been good, hard side-by-side racing, 2 groove racing here early on at South Boston Speedway. We've got 150 laps of this coming up as we see the caution flag fly for the first time tonight. We'll see what it's for.
We're hearing it may potentially have involved the 55 of Randy Cole Jr. We will await official word on that. But the first caution of the night is out here on lap number 14 here at South Boston Speedway.
We'll take a look here possibly and see what might have happened with the 55 of Cole. Nothing so far happening.
Oh, looks like he got caught up with Ty Delphia. So we'll see if we can get eyes on him here. See what happened to Ty Delphia as he pulls away. Oh, looks like a little contact between Delphia and the 17 of Reagan Parent send him around.
Yeah, and then Randy Cole, nowhere for him to go.
Yep, just an innocent bystander right there.
So that brings out our first yellow of the night.
Looks like pit road fairly quiet here in the early going. It looks like everyone deciding, Nick, that lap 13 is a little too early to try a tire play, but we will certainly keep an eye on that. And we also saw the 72 Ryan Kuhn there as well, unofficially sitting in the number 13 position. Again, had to start at the rear for the previous winner rule. Already is picking his way through the field.
Yep, he is working his way up, and I fully expect to see him competing at the front of the field again tonight to try to make it a hat trick, try to go for 3 in a row to begin 2025. But it looks like we are headed back to green, Michael.
Indeed we are. Bob Eldred decided he liked his experience on the high side earlier and chooses the outside for this restart. Has the nose up going to turn 1. Logan Powers gets a second chance on the inside. Let's see what he can do with it.
Bob Eldred, top side. Gives up a little bit of ground right there. Might have gotten up a little bit of a groove as Powers will lead that lap. But Bob Eldred unrelenting on the top side, trying to make something happen. Logan Powers back down low. They're side by side once again. Bob Eldred, I'm sure, was not a fan of that caution. Sitting there with, he had just taken the lead, and all of a sudden he's back to that side-by-side fight with Powers, which they did for much of the early stages of this race.
Indeed, and Logan Powers with a great run on the inside, clears him there. Back comes Bob Eldred, trying to do some mind warping in the 13, but it didn't work that time. Logan Powers will reassume the point.
Eldred finally takes the bottom lane there, plugs the hole with Caden Fisher looking for that position. As Matt Smith, now the first car running the top side of the racetrack, and it looks like, oh no, he was thinking about diving down, but Kyle Goodboo's going to put the nose in there and take that spot, or at least pull side by side in the battle for fourth.
Indeed. The 4 of Smith, the 17 of Goodboo. So far going at it for the number 4 spot. You've got the 1 of Kyler Davis and the 08 of Richie Murray slowly but steadily working his way through the field up to 7th here on lap number 20 in the SoBo Shootout.
Yeah, Richie Murray had to work his way from the consolation round into this race, but he had such a good event last week at Hickory. Wondering, it wouldn't be shocking if he's back up at the front of the field before this thing comes to a close, as Goodboo and Matt Smith continue to fight side by side.
Well, we've definitely, looks like it seems to me like the outside after a few laps seems to come in fairly well, but we'll see if that is in fact the case. So far, Matt Smith making it work for him, keeping the nose up on Kyle Goodboo for the number 4 spot here. The top 3 really haven't been able to pull away, though, as this side-by-side, whether that's just because these cars are able to maintain their pace so well, or whether the top 3 are just practicing patience remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think we're going to see a ton of, saving tires, because there's the wrinkle tonight. You've got unlimited tires. So I don't think we're going to see anybody really say, I'm going to take care of my equipment, take care of my tire wear here, early on, try to save it. I think everybody's going to be just about flat out for the entire race.
But then again, you have the question of track position, Nick. Even if you've been running hard, do you possibly pit and give up, the 3rd spot and risk getting stuck back around 18th or 20th, back where, we've seen bad things can happen when you get stuck back in the field?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you see Richie Murray's been able to come up through the field as Matt Smith gets way high there, finally gives up the spot to Kyle Goodboo. Murray's going to move underneath. Smith is in the 3rd lane up in the marbles right now. That car is looking like it's tough to control. Ricker's going to get by. Here comes Wenzel. Smith is holding Kyler Davis up on the top side there. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see, how does track position affect this race. You see Ryan Kuhn still back in 14th position right now. Hasn't made a ton of ground up yet, but Richie Murray is the counter to that argument. He's up to 5th, so I think it might be driver dependent tonight, just how much track position matters. Some guys are going to be able to get up through the field. Some guys are going to have a little bit of a tougher time, as we see this battle really start to heat up between the 4 and the 03, trying to fight for the bottom now.
Yeah, Matt Smith seems like he's had enough of the outside line. It looked like the car was starting to get away with him. Maybe got the tires heated up or something. He really wanted the bottom, and Nate Wenzel decides discretion is the better part of valor there. They will race on here in the 12:20 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. As we are past the 30 lap mark, we'll check back in at the front of the field here, and it looks like Logan Powers and Bob Eldred are starting to put some distance on the rest of the pack.
They are. Caden Fisher hanging back in a little bit of a distant 3rd, but I think these 3 able to get up and just single file racing as Powers slides big time there, way up into the 3rd groove. That opens up the door. Here comes Bob Eldred, who might just take the spot in one solid sweep here. Powers fighting back on the top side. We have a full-out battle for the lead once again here at South Boston.
And this time the roles are reversed. The 31 on the high groove and the 13 downstairs. So far, Logan Powers able to hold him off. And you can see in the back of the picture there, the 18 of Kyle Goodboo starting to make the 17 of Goodboo starting to make a run at the 18 of Fisher for the number 3 spot.
Yeah, Goodboo trying to get himself back into this. I think he lost a lot of ground fighting with Matt Smith there in that side-by-side battle while the top 3 were getting kind of strung out single file. But Goodboo he's starting to make that ground up now, trying to chase down Caden Fisher. And don't look now, but Richie Murray's right there too. He's joining this fight rather quickly as well, just a second and a half off the race lead.
Indeed, we will go inside with the 08 of Richie Murray right now as he chips away at the deficit to the 17 of Kyle Goodboo, shaping up to be a 3-car battle for that final podium spot here before too much longer. And you look up ahead, you see the 18 of Fisher kind of diamonding the corner right now, which leaves the door temporarily open for Kyle Goodboo if he can get the tire inside there.
Yeah, Kyle Goodboo is going to try to get there and take advantage of that, but Caden Fisher, as Kyle Goodboo continues to get bigger and bigger in the rear view, might start to change the way that he enters the corner a little bit. You see Richie here taking a way lower line than anybody else on corner entry, at least in turns 1 and 2, kind of sliding it back down, but still a lower entry than anybody else off 3 and 4 here. You see that car's right down on the yellow paint as soon as possible. Everybody else kind of running a half lane higher on this racetrack right now.
And that is one of the good fun things about this track, Nick, is that it is a multi-groove track and there are multiple lines that you can approach as we see the 08 of Richie Murray duck to the inside. Well, fun fact of the week, Nick, for this one is that when South Boston opened back in 1957, it was actually a quarter-mile dirt track. It was in 1962, 5 years later, when they extended the track to its current 3/8, roughly 4/10 mile configuration and paved it. And it puts on some great racing year in and year out, both in the real world and the virtual world. As you can see, as these three heavyweights feeling each other out now for the third position.
Absolutely, as it's the battle is definitely on between the three of these guys, with Fisher out in front of this group. Goodboo holding tough there in 4th. Murray's just trying to find his way into the battle here in 5th position. Really a big gap back to 6th right there with Kyler Davis.
And we are going to check back in on our point leader, Ryan Kuhn, who has cracked the top 10. You can see he's now working on the 04 of Justin Prescott for the number 9 position, who kisses the wall up ahead of him. Kuhn drives it in deep there, a little more methodically than last week, but make no mistake about it, the 72 of Kuhn is coming.
Yeah, Ryan Kuhn on his way to the front right now, working on this pack that's kind of 7th through 10th right now. You see Nate Wenzel at the front of it. Jason Ricker and a little bit of contact there with Ryan Kuhn as we come to the 1/3 mark of this SoBo Shootout. Ryan Kuhn still trying to find his way to the front of the pack.
Indeed, gets a couple of spots there. He is up to the number 8 position as the 9 of Ricker dropping back. We will, sideways there, we will head up to that battle for the number 3 position. The 18 of Fisher holding down the fort. Then Goodboo and Murray. And based on our ticker, Nick, they may be gaining a little bit on Bob Eldred for the number 2 position as well.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely are. These three, all three of them look really well right now, all in good rhythms. Caden Fisher trying to work his way up to the front, battle with Logan Powers, Bob Eldred, but he's also got the pressure from behind with Kyle Goodboo, Richie Murray, and you see Richie now going a little bit higher on his corner entry, running that top side now, seeing if there's any grip up there, trying to get himself a run on the 17.
And as that happens, Nick, we do need to report on some interesting developments that have happened behind the scene. Your number 2 point man, excuse me for that, Lukey Shannon, only made it 3 laps in this event before retiring. You can see on his ticker, not sure if it was connection issues or something else. And the reigning IACT champion, Casey Beatty, has been on pit road since lap number 33. So 2 very tough outings for 2 of our drivers who are looking to contend for the championship this year.
Yeah, Ryan Kuhn must love to see that as the caution flag flies here on lap number 55. Second caution of the day. We'll see what that might be for here. we've just passed the 1/3 mark of the SoBo Shootout. Second caution with Logan Powers out in front, and we're going to have some takers on pit road.
Sure we will. We'll keep an eye out for what may have happened. Based on the running order, could have potentially been the 4 of Matt Smith. We're not 100% sure, but we do see him going to pit road here as long as everyone else. So that is where we're going to pick up, Nick, as we head to our pit view. Pit road, a very busy place here.
Absolutely. You see Brock Kraus just driving through everybody there. Logan Powers is down and away. I think we might see some guys take 2 tires here, try to get themselves some track position. I think this might be the first test here at lap number 55. What does track position mean in comparison to what you have on for tires? We're probably going to start seeing some comers and goers in this little stint here as you take a look at our pit strategy. Guys coming off of pit road, how long each one is going on a set of tires, so on and so forth.
Indeed, we brought that up so we can take a look at who has and has not pitted, understanding the 21 of Weir may have been the free pass there. And it looks like at the very least, Nick, you can see based on our pit strategy, our top at least 7-8 cars chose to stay out here. The ticker's still cycling through on this caution, but definitely saw some strategy. It looks like the 13 of Bob Eldred back in the field. We'll see how that sorts out and confirm, all this is correct. But as I talk, we're going back racing here.
Here we go. It's Kyle Goodboe and Ryan Kuhn, your 2 race leaders. As we get back to green flag racing, Nate Wenzel is in 3rd. 4th is the 9 of Jason Ricker. And back behind them, that's where you find Logan Powers, Bob Eldred, Caden Fisher, Richie Murray, the guys that were running up front at the time of the caution. As we see how their fresh tires will affect their way up through the field. Michael, I'm wondering, if those guys up there, Ryan Kuhn, Goodboe, Ricker, and Wenzel, took 2 tires or if they just flat out stayed on the racetrack.
Indeed, we will investigate that as we get further on here, but we are going to get a test. Ryan Kuhn, he could have 150 laps on his tires, and I'd still trust him to wheel that number 72. He's used a little strategy to help get himself up to 2nd, but he's still got to get around Goodboe. As you can see, though, he's in danger of giving up the 2nd spot here, as here comes the 03 of Nate Wenzel to the outside.
Yeah, Wenzel making the move on the top side of the racetrack. Logan Powers is to the back bumper of Ryan Kuhn as we follow you in the video game style chase camera. And contact for the lead. Here comes Nate Wenzel. Wenzel is going to go to the outside and take the point, coming around to complete lap number 60.
Nate Wenzel leading for the first time this season in the 03 machine. And the 17 of Goodboe is clearly starting to fade here. The 72 of Kuhn around his outside. The 9 of Jason Ricker looking to take the 3rd spot. The 17 of Goodboe, not a very happy camper now, as he's in danger of giving up a spot to Richie Murray as well.
Yeah, Richie Murray using the 17 as a pick, in fact, to get around Logan Powers up top. Powers is now going to follow through on the outside lane. Goodboe having a real struggle right now. Maybe showing the bad end of a strategy call here. Less than 10 laps after our caution period, his car is sliding to the back of the field.
Yeah, we'll go inside him and see him working the wheel there. You definitely don't want to be turning right at a track where there's only left turns, do you, Nick?
Yeah, that's usually not ideal. You can see him. He's swatting flies inside that number 17 machine right now. Caden Fisher's gotten around him. And here comes Bob Eldred as well. Things not going so hot for Kyle Goodboe at the moment. But these fresh tires are working wonders for Richie Murray. Logan Powers, see them getting around Ryan Kuhn like he's standing still. Murray is through to third, while Nate Wenzel and Jason Ricker still up front running first and second.
Indeed, Kuhn got up to the front, but he is starting to fade, and the outside has been the place to be on this restart, as here comes the 18 of Caden Fisher, trying to break into the top 5 here as we close in on the halfway point. Up ahead of this, it is all Nathan Wenzel in the 03 machine.
Nathan Wenzel with a 0.6 of a second lead right now over Jason Ricker. But Richie Murray is making that gap shrink. And look how big that gap is shrinking right now. Down to 0.3 of a second. Wenzel might be having a problem up at the front of the field, Michael.
Oh, indeed. We're going to get a look at him, and he is definitely fallen back into the clutches here. We'll see if we can figure out what happened to him. But yeah, Nathan Wenzel just dropped right to the back, and Ricker is now to his inside.
Now, side-by-side fight for the lead. Wenzel's in the wall. That will surely give Ricker the lead here, and Richie Murray might even be able to slide in and take second.
Indeed, Nathan Wenzel was going so well for him, but now it's starting to fall apart. Here comes Richie Murray to the inside, and Logan Powers looking to get back into it as well. I guess we're going to have to call that another announcer's jinx, because I said it was all Nathan Wenzel, and now he is hanging on by his fingernails.
Yeah, that car is borderline out of control right now, trying to run the top side and to hold off the fresh tires, but Richie Murray, seems to be on a mission right now. Used the traffic off of pit road and on the ensuing restart to get himself ahead of Logan Powers and Bob Eldred and Caden Fisher. So it's gonna be interesting here. Murray has really played this pit strategy well and put himself in a great spot, great track position right now. But still, Jason Ricker, the leader, and Murray's got to get around Nate Wenzel here if he wants to make a charge at him.
So I want to go back to that pit strategy thing here. You take a look here, Nick. It looks like the roles may be reversed as, oh man, Murray bounces off the side of Wenzel. Because according to our pit stop strategy box, Wenzel did pit on lap 54 and Powers and Murray did not. You know, obviously this unofficial, but it also could be a difference of 2 tires, 4 tires, and whose pit crew just did the best job in the pit lane to get him back out on the track. But all that matters right now is that Jason Ricker is leading the way, and Richie Murray able to hold on to it, but he has fallen back into the clutches of Caden Fisher, as you can see, the battle for 4th spot.
Yeah, that battle is on. As you see, Murray starting to slide backwards just a little bit. Maybe an announcer's jinx on my part, as well as Murray sliding there. Almost contact with Bob Eldred. They race side by side. Kyler Davis trying to get through as well. Coming around to lap number 80. Murray looked like he was fighting for the lead. Now he's fighting to hold on to a spot in the top 10.
Well, based on the way he's sliding, that may be accurate, Nick, that he's still on the same set of tires, but seems to have it settled in now. But we'll see how it develops over what's now 69 laps to go here in the SoBo Shootout. You can see the front of the field has gotten it pretty well spaced out here. And if you look at your ticker, Nick, you can see Ryan Kuhn has fallen all the way back to 11th spot. A very atypical showing for the man who's won the first 2 events this year.
Yeah, he's struggling tonight. Whatever strategy call they did make there at that caution has not worked out for him. He got that track position back, but now he's lost all of it, all the way back to 11th place right now, outside of the top 10, and really struggling to keep pace right now with the leaders. But, I mean, you look at this, Michael, it's kind of crazy. Jason Ricker's leading this thing. Less than 2.5 seconds behind him is Justin Prescott in 10th. I mean, this is just the field, there's no separation tonight.
Indeed. Very, very equally spaced here they are, as the 31 of Logan Powers, your pole sitter, trying to get underneath the 03 of Nathan Wenzel for second, and behind them you see Richie Murray saddling up and getting back on the comeback trail, looking to the inside of Bob Eldred for the number 5 spot. They were content to go single file for a while, but now it is time to go here in the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout.
Yeah, I mean, this race clicking right away right now. You got to be careful. The last two races have kind of been rough and tumble, taking a while to complete. This race has been the opposite of that, where we've only had two caution periods so far. So it's very interesting. We'll see what happens, but these laps are really clicking off. You don't want to put yourself in a spot where all of a sudden you're looking down at the lap counter and, oh my God, I got 10, 15 laps to go.
Indeed, it's all well and good to save something for the end, but you don't want to save so much that you don't have time to come back. As riding along with the nose here of Caden Fisher, you can see he has closed right back up on the rear bumper of Logan Powers. Looking to challenge for the number 3 spot, and Eldred has fended off Murray for now for the number 5 position.
Yeah, this is the group that is really going to be interesting to watch. There's Powers, Fisher, Eldred, Murray. I think these are the 4 fastest cars here right now, but track position clearly has been a big factor in this, and it's been really hard to pass. So that's worked out really well, as you see. Caden Fisher almost down to the pit road entrance right there. But yeah, now Wenzel gets to the wall, so it's going to be an opportunity for Powers to maybe do something here in the 31, move up to second.
All about capitalizing on the opportunities you get. Logan Powers has the fender up in the 31. They rub a little bit off the corner as Wenzel comes right back at him, seeing again the drive he can get, but Wenzel slips up there, clips the wall again, and he's going to lose several spots in the 03 machine as Powers goes to the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Wenzel on the slide back trail now. We saw that he was able to get that car kind of under control earlier and maintain a good running spot, but it looks like it's starting to go away from him again here. He's fallen back to 6th after leading at the lap 55, coming off the lap 55 caution.
Well, it's feeling to me, Nick, that Nathan Wenzel is having to drive right on the edge to maintain these speeds, he's able to maintain that for a while. But if he slides over that edge just a little bit, he ends up dropping back a bunch and having to regroup.
Yeah, for sure. And look at this, gonna slide that thing in there. Little bit of contact with Richie Murray. How about that drive in there from Wenzel? Murray gave him the bottom, and it almost took it away for the both of them. As Reagan Parent, we haven't really said his name much tonight. He is now fighting for 6th place. As Wenzel's now going to worry about the 17 machine.
Indeed, Nathan Wenzel led some laps and now is just fighting to hold on to the 6th spot. Keeping an eye on the ticker, and you can see in the front of the picture above, your top 3, fairly close together, nose to tail. Nobody stepping out of line yet, but we are coming up on 50 laps to go in the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. Logan Powers definitely there, as we're going to head back up there. Let's see if and when he decides to make a move on the 9 of Jason Ricker.
Yeah, and he is right there, and I don't know. I think his hand here might be forced eventually by Caden Fisher, because Fisher's right there too, and I don't think Caden Fisher's going to be one to wait around from 3rd place. He's going to jump at an opportunity here and really try to make something happen whenever he gets the chance.
Well, we have a moment, Nick. Let's take you through the field. You can see the 9 of Jason Ricker is your leader. Logan Powers, the 31, rides 2nd. Then Caden Fisher in the 18. The 13 of Bob Eldred and the 08 of Richie Murray rounding out your top 5. Then position 6th through 10th. You can see side by side Wenzel and Parent. Dirt tracks it but hangs on. Kyler Davis runs in the 8th spot. Then it is Justin Prescott and Matt Smith. You can see rounding out the top 10. Final 5 cars on the track right now. The 12 of Brian Rogers. The 72 Ryan Kuhn, again not able to get out of the back. 69 Andy Young. 70 Brock Rouse. And the 55 of Randy Cole going a lap down. Kyle Goodboo, Scott Dragon, Dave Weir Hayden Bushy, Ty Delphia, Casey Beatty, and Luke Shannon all behind the wall in this one.
Back up at the front, you see Jason Ricker leading his first laps on the IACT Winter Warm-Up Series, and he has been out front for over 50 laps now, trying to hold on to the finish. But Logan Powers and Caden Fisher might have something to say about that before the end of this thing. They are there and ready to pounce if there's a mistake made by the number 9 machine.
Well, Jason Ricker trying to put his technical expertise to work and not make one. The cars on the track still very close together, relatively speaking, Nick. We've been under green for 54 laps, and the 14 cars in the lead lap are separated by barely over 6 seconds. So you can see here on the blimp, Richie Murray getting back at it. He is to the inside of Bob Eldred for the number 4 position.
And Powers makes a slight move to the top there, but Murray now to the inside of Bob Eldred. Eldred has held him at bay for quite a few laps now, but Murray trying to make a move down there to the inside. He's going to get it done and clear Bob Eldred for the 4th position. Eldred will slide back to 5th at this juncture.
Richie Murray trying to make a late run here in the SoBo Shootout. We are inside of 40 laps to go, and we are going back to the front because they are side by side for the lead. Logan Powers puts it on the inside rail, trying to get around the 9 of Jason Ricker, but Ricker holding on in the outside groove.
Powers decided to make his move, but it might not work. Ricker making the top side work there in the 9 car. Caden Fisher says, I want to join this fight too, and don't look now, but while these guys get rough and rowdy for the first place position, here comes Richie Murray in the 08. He's cleared Bob Eldred, and he wants to join the fun as well. It's going to be an interesting finish here to the SoBo Shootout.
Looking at a potential 4-car, maybe even 5-car battle for the win if Bob Eldred can get back in the mix. Bob Eldred has a reputation for coming on strong at the end of these events. They're all going to have to pass Jason Ricker, though, in car number 9, having by far his best run ever on the IACT Tour. And let's check back in because we've got a battle for 3rd shaping up. Here comes Richie Murray in the Chuckrin Auto Parts machine.
Richie Murray is just coming right through the field right now. He is by far the fastest car on the racetrack visually, and making a move. He's caught right up to this top 3 grouping. Bob Eldred's not far behind him. Murray is looking for any advantage to get underneath Fisher. Fisher bobbles off of turn 4, and Richie Murray's got his chance. They're side by side down the backstretch and into turn number 3. This the battle for 3rd position on the racetrack, looking for the final podium spot. And oh, Michael, by the way, that's a money spot too. $20 to the person who finishes in 3rd place tonight. Fisher with another bobble. Murray trying to complete the pass and make a charge towards the lead.
And as this is all happening, you could see the 31 of Logan Powers trying again to duck to the inside of Jason Ricker. Again, nothing doing as we are coming up on 30 laps to go. Can feel the tension building here at virtual South Boston Speedway.
It's going to be one heck of a finish here tonight. Logan Powers following in the tire tracks of Jason Ricker. The battle for 3rd is intense between Richie Murray and Caden Fisher. Bob Eldred waiting behind in 5th, seeing if there might be something there. We see Murray get the clear on Caden Fisher as Powers makes another bid at the lead.
We will watch that fight for the lead inside the cockpit of Richie Murray. Logan Powers, your pole sitter, trying to win it from the top spot, but he has got to pick up one more position to do it, and so far just has not been able to get the drive to clear Jason Ricker. And as they run side by side, Richie Murray inserts himself into the conversation for the lead here at South Boston Speedway. Contact on the front straightaway. Everybody sorts it out.
Contact in the battle for the lead, and here comes Richie Murray down to the inside, trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. With less than 30 laps to go in the SoBo Shootout, Powers stays tough on the inside. He'll settle back in now. Major contact between the leaders has opened the door for the Seacock driver Richie Murray, trying to make something happen, but for now, Jason Ricker maintains the race lead.
And Caden Fisher able to draw up on this group as well. Bob Eldred within a second of the lead. Less than 25 laps to go now. Well, we shall say exactly 25 laps to go as our ticker changes. Here comes Richie Murray in the 08. He wants second from Logan Powers.
Richie Murray down to the inside. This is perfect for Jason Ricker, trying to drive away into the sunset for his first career IACT win. But Richie Murray wants that first win as well. And they are as tight could be for the battle for the lead. Ricker the leader, Powers topside, Murray on the bottom, and what a run for the 08 down to the inside. He might challenge for the race lead now.
Richie Murray gets it done for second on the bottom. Now he will try to do what Logan Powers couldn't and sweep around the inside of Jason Ricker for the lead. It was still Ricker by a radiator cap at the line, but Richie Murray pokes the nose up. Here he comes. He may have it off of turns 3 and 4. Ricker not quite done yet.
Side by side still. Give the advantage right now to Richie Murray. He might be able to clear him off the corner. It's going to be tight. He does. Richie Murray, the race leader. He faded late at Hickory. He's coming on strong late at South Boston. Here they come, 20 laps remaining in the SoBo Shootout, and it's as contested as ever for the race lead.
And they are approaching the 72 of Ryan Kuhn to put him a lap down as well. Kuhn goes to the high side, but they are double wide behind him. Oh, Kuhn with the very evasive action there lets Ricker and Powers go through as they bounce off each other again on the straightaway. Once again, great piece of driving to hold on to it, but Powers is going to have to regroup and try again.
18 circuits to go here at South Boston. Richie Murray out to a half-second lead. Jason Ricker holding on to second. Logan Powers trying to find a way by any means to get himself up into second, maybe stage a battle for the win. And Caden Fisher, he's trying to find himself in the money for the first time this season as Powers down to the bottom into the marbles, sliding off of turn number 4 rather. Powers this time, oh, and there's a problem. Justin Prescott right in front of the leaders slides down, and Ricker's gonna slide back. Fisher into third, and up into second comes Logan Powers.
Oh, you could see that there was some heavy damage on the 04. Prescott must have had an inch in the back trying to limp it down to pit road. Everybody able to avoid him, but Jason Ricker, the loser in that deal, falls back to the number 4 spot here with 14 laps to go. And as all this is happening, Richie Murray has said sayonara in that 08 machine. He continues to pull away.
Yeah, Richie Murray came so close to victory last week, did not even get a spot on the podium. He fell off late in the race at Hickory after leading so much of it tonight. He's been chasing the race all night long, had to come through the B feature, or the consolation round to even get in the show. Did not qualify in his heat race. He's driven all the way up through the field into the lead, and it's been very obvious, Michael, that the 08 car has been the car to beat here in the second half of this race.
And this, Nick, we're now on a very important battle for the 4th spot. The 13 of Bob Eldred doing Bob Eldred things. And with Ryan Kuhn struggling all night, Luke Shannon falling out early, Bob Eldred, the number 3 point man, has a chance to potentially take the points lead here based on the final order, looking for everything he can with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, every point's going to be important in an 8-race season. Every single spot means so much when it comes down to it. It's going to be a tight point battle, and especially if Ryan Kuhn's having an off week, you want to jump on that. So Bob Eldred trying everything he's got to get into the 4th position and hold on to it here with less than 10 laps to go in the SoBo Shootout.
as they continue to duel. The 17 of Reagan Parent is closing in on him. This could be a three-car battle for the fourth spot before too long. 69 Aiden Young making a late charge up to seventh. Then Wenzel Rogers and Kyler Davis, the rest of your top 10. As Bob Eldred gets it done in the 13, he secures the number 4 position.
Eldred has the spot. The top 3 seem to be rather well in hand at this point. Murray's ahead by 2.5 seconds to Logan Powers. Then it's 3.5 seconds to Caden Fisher in the 18. Eldred still about half a second behind Fisher there, as we see Reagan Parent taking the spot from Jason Ricker, but then sliding the 17 car up the racetrack as Parent has worked his way into the top 5.
We have been under green for more than 90 laps at this point, Nick. So even if you change tires, then they're sliding around. And you can see Bob Eldred going to try and make a late bid for a podium spot. He has caught the back of Caden Fisher with 4 laps to go, looking to the outside.
Bob Eldred on a tear right now as he is looking to get himself into the money once again. Every week we say, where did Bob come from? And now he, at the line, has the spot. Fisher will get back in there. Side by side, the battle. This is $20 on the line for these two drivers, but I'm sure if there was no money on the line, they'd be racing just as hard. Bob Eldred off the 4th corner, coming back around. 2 laps to go. Still side by side in the fight for 3rd. This is 5 seconds off the lead. Eldred will take the spot. Fisher back to 4th as we come to the white flag for Richie Murray.
All alone at the front of the pack. He's tried, and tonight he is going to do it, Nick. In the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout, Richie Murray wins it in the 08 machine. Logan Powers is going to come across the line in 2nd, then Eldred, Caden Fisher, and Reagan Parent round out your top 5 in a thrilling back and forth event here at the South Boston Speedway.
What a race that was. My goodness. And you see Richie Murray burning it down. He's come so close so many times. Has never quite been able to finish it off and get a win. I don't think he's come any closer than he did last week at Hickory. Didn't even get the podium after falling off at the end of the race. But Richie Murray in the 08 machine out of Seekonk Speedway down in Massachusetts, he is finally an IACT winner. What a race.
Absolutely burning down those virtual Hoosiers, and I say go for it, man. We'll wait a couple minutes, get our top 3 into the broadcast booth with us so we can chat with them again. Richie Murray is your winner in the Chuck Run Auto Parts machine. Logan Powers, your pole sitter, brings it home 2nd, and Bob Eldred rounding out the top 3 in the 1220 Auto and Graphics SoBo Shootout. Only a handful of cautions in this one, Nick, but a whole lot of great side-by-side racing, some comers and goers, and really just another great show once again at South Boston Speedway.
Absolutely. A SoBo Shootout never disappoints. And now joining us from Victory Lane, finally an IACT winner, Richie Murray. Congratulations. I bet you this one feels pretty dang good.
Oh, yeah, it does. Oh,
So
it's I'm gonna be honest. It feels like it's been longer than probably has, because I didn't join this league until halfway through last season. But I don't know. I feel like I've had enough bad luck and technical issues and problems that this made it some more sweet.
So, Richie, in the middle stage of this race, I mean, the top 6 and 7 were going at it, and you had a few really close moments, kind of getting bounced up and back through the field. You know, how did you regroup and make a run over the final 50 laps?
Yeah, it's just I mean, I was trying to keep pace with Jason Ricker going for the lead, and then trying to get around the 03. It's just I didn't have the grip on the bottom. The top lane was way more dominant, and then he decided to start actually once he actually started fighting back instead of just kind of riding on the top side. Then I got bounced around, and then I got bounced around on the top, and I started getting loose. So I figured I'd drop back, save some right rear, whatever I could do, And then I was honestly stressing because I felt like I'd used up way more tire than I should have. Definitely way more tire than I used up last week leading, but somehow it's once the track came around, the bottom lane came right in, and I was a rocket ship out of nowhere.
Yeah, you really came along there at the end of that race, and you talked about Hickory last week. It's like the roles were reversed. Last week you were hanging on to the lead there for dear life, and ultimately it fell apart, and you slid back outside the podium. And this week you were kind of on the outside looking into that conversation, with 50, 60 laps to go, and then all of a sudden the car took off, and you were driving right past everybody like they were standing still. It's got to be nice to at least at the very least get it made up for the way that last week ended.
Oh yeah, it makes up for last week. It makes up for the wrecks I got in last year. It definitely makes it up.
Well, Richie, congratulations. It's been a long time coming. Like you said, it feels like it's been longer than it actually has been, but you've come so close so many times. Good to see you in victory lane, my friend, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Once again, that is our winner tonight in the SoBo Shootout. Richie Murray will now go to our second place finisher, Logan Powers, off the pole. Kind of went through the field a little bit, had a heck of a battle there with Jason Ricker trying to get the lead, but then Logan, you got an unexpected interloper there towards the end.
Yeah, it was a fun race, I will say. That's a lot of fun being able to run different lines, and it was frustrating trying to get by on the bottom, but it was good racing. So I'm happy to come home second. Richie kind of came out of nowhere for sure, but I just picked the wrong lane, I think, there at the end. I kind of fell in line with Jason, and that he started to fade as soon as I got behind him. So it was just unfortunate timing there. And then the car felt really good up until Richie got by. Once I got to the inside of Jason, I just had nothing left. The car felt awesome all night until I needed it, So come up a little bit short, but yeah, like I said, that was a ton of fun.
And Logan, take us through, because we were having a little bit of a problems with on our broadcast. We were trying to figure out what on that lap 55 yellow flag. What did you guys do for strategy there? Because you got pushed back a little bit in the field, and that made the race interesting, because you were not only racing for position with the guys that wound up ahead of you, but you're racing the guys that were behind you before the caution too, and it was a really interesting fight to watch you guys come back up through the field. So since we were having the problems there, we didn't really get to relay that to our viewers. What was the strategy call there?
Yeah, so I've always been a 4-tire guy. I just know that sometimes 2 tires cannot work out. So I took 4 and fell back to, I don't know if it was 5th or 6th, 7th, somewhere in there. So I was feeling fairly confident. I think Kyle was the only one that stayed out, and he ended up being a little bit slower on the bottom, which allowed Jason and a couple other guys to get out front. And looking back on it, that was kind of really kind of the end of it. Once they got the track position, not saying that they weren't fast, they were just as fast as I was. I couldn't get the positioning back. I know Ryan took 2 tires, and that clearly didn't work out for him. And that was just an unfortunate, circumstance for him, because we just went green the whole time. So it was good to have the 4 tires. It essentially worked out a little bit, but then didn't quite fully come, full circle. So yeah, took 4 tires, and I did what I could. If I had 2, I wouldn't have made it. So I'm happy I took the tires.
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed, a strong second place finish. Came into tonight tied for 5th in points, and certainly going to make some gains with several drivers in front of having trouble. Logan, great run tonight, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you.
On to our third place finisher. And like we said late in the broadcast, Michael, Bob really likes talking to us, so he had to make the pass there on Caden Fisher there on the outside. But Bob Eldred, here we are again, man. Another P3 and a really strong points day for your team.
Yeah, 10-4. I cannot get over how much I love this track. RKM setups are nuts here. I love the inside-outside battle. I do feel like it ended up pretty dominant outside, but I mean, once the tires wore down to nothing and everybody was on a skating rink, it was whoever's call wherever you wanted to go. So it was a blast. I think Richie definitely had the car to beat. I don't know that I even had anything for Logan. I might have at the end, but I spent so much time coming up through that I didn't have anything left to get there.
Now, Bob, this race a lot different from the first couple on the schedule. Only a few cautions, and the last 96 laps go green. Go green. I mean, what was that like as a driver, trying to figure out, if a caution might come and how to approach the final stages?
I'm gonna be entirely honest. I did not play this race right. Uh, we had, due to a scheduling snafu or whatever, we had unlimited tires. So I took a set of 4 there. I kind of wish I would have only taken 2 just so I had a little bit more track position. But uh, about 30 laps into that last run, I thought, maybe I should try to cool down the right sides. And my hands and my feet just didn't do what my brain told them to do. And I'll bet these right sides are at 20%.
Well, Bob, you put on a show once again. So congratulations on another top 3 with us here in 2025, and a really good race. You guys all put on a great show tonight. So congratulations, and we will see you next week.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, Michael, that will just about wrap up our broadcast here tonight. Once again, we'll go through the final running order. Richie Murray finally gets his first IACT victory. Logan Powers second. Bob Eldred was in third. And
hang on, that's the practice results.
That's practice,
there, Nick.
because Casey Beatty did not finish third.
Yeah, well, no, last week that box showed him so perfectly. But technology, right? So we will go back to our ticker.
Caden Fisher comes home fourth. Reagan Parent with a good solid run in fifth. Jason Ricker led so much of this race, fell back to sixth at the end. Aiden Young seventh. Brian Rogers with a top 10 in eighth. Nate Wenzel slid back to ninth after leading some laps. Brock Rouse picks up the top 10 there in 10th position.
Taking you quickly through the rest of the field, Kyler Davis finishes 11th, Matt Smith 12th, Ryan Kuhn, again, just the 2 tires did not work out, ended up 13th. The final car running at the end, Justin Prescott, we saw had a late incident, ended up 14th. Then Randy Cole Jr., Kyle Goodboo, Scott Dragon, Dave Weir, Hayden Bushy, Ty Delphia, Casey Beatty, and Luke Shannon round out your 22-car field. So, I mean, it feels early to be talking about points, Nick, but next week we are going to get the halfway point of the season with 150 laps at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I mean, everything counts on the way to the GossCars.com IACT Championship.
It absolutely does, and don't miss it next week, same time, different place. We'll be at North Wilkesboro for 150 big ones. Should be a great race if tonight was any indication. Once again, congratulations to Richie Murray for winning the second annual SoBo Shootout. Huge shout out to 1220 Auto and Graphics for sponsoring tonight's 150 lap race. Once again, go like them on Facebook. Go check them out for any auto and graphic needs. And for Michael Stridesberg, I am Nick Mumley. We will talk to you all next week from North Wilkesboro. Have a great night, everybody.